just collapse to the ground, and I just wanted the ground to come apart.
What type of person does that? Sorry, it's just...
Fair, just wondering if I could ask you a few questions, Amanda.
In today's video, we have somebody once again who faked cancer, but this time they get confronted by a TV crew for the actions that they did. Now, they were so bad that they even told their friends and family and sat them down and told them that they were going to die. They even tried to plan out their own funeral, and well, we're gonna see how the friends and family reacted after finding out the truth.
How are you feeling? Are you well?
I've got somewhere to go, I'm sorry.
I could not believe what I was hearing. That someone who we had known for this long and done so much for had just played us the entire time.
That's just absolutely insane. How do you even react to something like that afterwards as well? I see her being confronted outside of a supermarket. Well, like, what? Generally, what are you supposed to say? Oh, you know what? I feel a lot better now. I think I was just low in vitamin D, but since taking my vitamin D tablets, oh, I gotta tell you, I've made a full speedy recovery. What an absolute turnaround. We mention this in every video, but I always feel like after seeing the reactions of the people that were closest to the victim slash scammer and watching them react to the whole situation on camera afterwards, I always feel extremely bad, obviously. But then I also think about how the absolute scumbag that decided to scam people out of money while faking a very real illness that affects millions of people around the world, if not billions. I always think how they're never gonna help anybody else after that. Resources that should have gone to people in the first place now get completely neglected, which is devastating. And if that doesn't already make you mad enough, I suppose when you think about it more along the terms of, imagine if there was a kid, say the age of 7 years old, who had terminal cancer, and these people would have given their money to maybe give to this kid to go to, I don't know, Disneyland or something, right? Maybe just somehow make the remaining time he has left that like a little bit better at least, has now just been stolen away from this scumbag, you know, so she can get her Amazon Prime orders. That, I feel, is what makes these videos so good to make, because it really just brings that to light and really exposes these scumbags for exactly who they are.
Do you have cancer, Amanda? Have you ever been diagnosed with cancer?
4 years ago, Amanda Power told her friends she was dying of cancer.
She sat me down and said, look, it's everywhere now. There's nothing that can be done.
Gemma Doyle says she couldn't believe what she was hearing.
When she told us everything was like, that's it, I can't go on, I've got to go into palliative care. And we're like, you know, all of us are just like, oh my God, like what's happening?
How do you even do that to someone's face? A lot of the times when they do this type of stuff, it will be like people they don't actually know, and they'll make friends online with people that they've never met before. Not that it could ever be easy just to fake stuff, but to actual family members and close friends that you've built up over the time you've been alive, to then sit down, and not even over the phone or over like text message or anything like that, but manage to somehow then keep a straight face and actually say that to them. That's actually wild.
When I received that phone call, I could not believe what I was hearing.
Carly Whittington was another friend devastated by the news of Amanda's imminent demise.
So that whole day we had spent talking about her and just thinking, oh my gosh, I hope she's feeling better now, and I hope that she's going to be okay. Because at that point we still thought she was just really sick.
And it even goes way further than just the money that was stolen. Like, you have to think about it along the lines of like the actual emotional damage that I feel like that causes some people. It's not something that people could just brush off afterwards after realizing that you have been faking. Imagine if like a close family member right now who you are extremely close to said something like this. I don't even know how you're supposed to understand how to even slightly brush that off and just carry on with your life. That's got to be, for one, devastating, but you're going to have like massive trust issues. There's always like this collective agreement that you just don't fake stuff like this, considering just how scummy it is in the first place. But when someone does do that, it's someone as well from your family or a close friend is who you feel like you know, right? Like at that point, you've been friends with them for a long time, or you've known them for a long time, you feel like you got a good understanding and you know them. And this is such a dumb lie to always play out. This could literally never end well. What is your end goal here? Just to get real cancer one day? I don't understand what the end goal is here. You're just gonna take their money and then just dip and pretend that you just died? Pull a Michael from GTA 5 and fake your own funeral? Is that really worth $20,000? Because by the way, they don't really get that much money either. It's not like they'll get like 800,000, and even then it's still not worth it. But $20,000, is that worth cutting off all ties to family and friends?
Some of your friends say that that's what you've told them. Is that the case?
The biggest thing was why me? Like, why did she pick me all those years ago to be her friend?
Jess Snell has known Amanda for 14 years. Amanda was maid of honour at Jess's wedding.
You never question somebody that has cancer and is dying. You never believe that somebody would be low enough to make up that.
Well, exactly. It's so different as well to try and fake that and the lengths that these people will actually go to try and actually pretend that they have it, right? We saw in the last video that she was faking like hospital appointments, would come back with plasters and stuff, which I can't lie, is a little bit sus if you have brain cancer and you go in for an operation and come back with plasters in your head. But still, I mean, the effort is there to try and fake it, right? Walking into the facilities clearly to then go and pretend to have that operation still happened. It's weird to me. It's wild. And yeah, absolutely. That's just something we don't fake. So why would you question it? It's not like the fake TikTok videos that I'll watch where they'll claim to have DID, then they've written in their like sketchbook the 700 different characters that they owe as, and one of them is SpongeBob and Patrick. Like, just, you know, when that happens, you could probably lean towards the fact that they're probably faking. It's like cancer. It's just like, yeah, why would you fake that? You know, especially because it's more physical too. It's so much harder to fake, so it's much rarer. But as seen, it happens.
Amanda Power's story starts here in Townsville, the Catholic schoolgirl growing up in this city in far north Queensland. Friends say when Amanda was a teenager, her parents separated and she became estranged from her family. Not long after, Amanda very publicly announces she's battling cancer, even becoming the face of cancer fundraisers. It was a story she maintained for almost a decade.
Jesus Christ. A decade. I understand you can have cancer for a long time, but a decade. There wasn't one time within that 10 years Amanda thought, I should probably give up this gig. Like, I suppose it makes sense with the whole background story now coming into play. With her parents breaking up, I suppose her wanting that attention. There's just better ways of getting it than faking cancer, bro. For example, guys, when was the last time you heard about someone faking cancer that ended well? Never. Bro, like, it's never ended well. And now obviously she's not friends with anyone probably, and also she's being recorded on the local news. Your face is everywhere. No one's gonna like you now because of that, and as a result of your actions, now you're just really gonna experience loneliness. I don't know, man, that was just completely dumb. No pity either. I have no pity for that as well. You know what you're doing, especially at that age. She doesn't look young. You know, like, okay, I feel like if they were like at the age of 14 or 15, it can be somewhat excusable, because when you're that age, you don't really know what the you're doing. But this woman looks like she's in her 40s or 50s. She knows what she's doing.
She's selfish. She hurt me. She, from what I've heard, has been able to live her life normally since it all happened and just forget about everything where I've struggled.
Jess Snell says she met Amanda when she first moved to Townsville. The two worked together and became friends.
Told me that she had cervical cancer and whatnot, but wouldn't let me come to appointments, or if she had surgeries, wouldn't let me come to the hospital to pick her up.
The thing that sort of, now that I look back, that didn't seem right was that she was always driving herself to these appointments, and she actually was firm on not wanting any help in that area.
This is a common occurrence in every single scenario that we watch as well. Even the last one we saw a week ago was the exact same story. They don't want anyone to help them. They don't want anyone to drive them there. They don't want anyone to pick them up from the appointments. And why that can just sound absolutely insane and ridiculous. You got to remember, right? Like, hearing the story now and watching it from the outside, well, of course, that's a big red flag. But if you're someone's friend and they're saying this, they need their space. It's okay. Let's leave them to it. Like, because again, you got to think in the back of your mind, who fakes it? No one fakes cancer, bro. Like, the alarm bells don't really start ringing until, yeah, maybe after 10 years of this, right? Like, yeah, it's inevitable that they're going to start ringing after 10 years of this. Dude. And then the first friend saying how nothing has really happened to her. Now, I assume this was a while ago and now the TV crew are picking this story up and recording her. Seems like nothing's happened. She's outside right now shopping and living her life normally. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure she's deeply depressed and self-pitiful now to herself, which good, but maybe not. Maybe she's just complete psycho and has no remorse whatsoever, right? But having no consequences to your actions here. I know in the US, sometimes you can get actual prison time for faking this type of stuff. It's almost like a type of scam, which it really is. You're stealing money off people pretending to have something that you don't have. Absolutely, it's a scam. But there are these occasions where, yeah, people can get off with this type of stuff and they just carry on living their lives. Obviously, they don't have their friends and family anymore, but I don't even feel like that's justice enough. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is that enough justice for this, or should they actually get prison time and slapped with a fine and also have to pay back the money that they stole? I think so.
Carly Whittington became friends with Amanda after interviewing her for a university assignment when Amanda was the spokesperson for Relay for Life, a legitimate cancer fundraiser. Here's Amanda talking on local TV around that time.
Last year, Townsville Relay raised just under $300,000 to contribute to the fight against cancer.
She was loved for it because she was a survivor, so she knew what they were all going through.
Her friends say Amanda went on to work for the Queensland Cancer Council and became a poster girl for the charity.
That is actually wild. That's not something I've seen before. I think we've seen like 2-3 of these videos now. Like, I like making them because I like putting it out for the YouTube channel, making these videos resurface. I think these types of videos should be pushed around and these people should be exposed as much as they possibly can. I think everyone could agree with that. But I gotta say, I have never seen this ever before. She pretended to be a spokesperson for cancer. And okay, on the one hand, she's raising money and yeah, sure, that's good. But how can you actually sit there and talk to real people that have actually had this real disease with a straight face and like not feel any remorse or feel any type of way about it? Like, just get up in the morning and then just carry on. Also, is it not a little bit sus though? She's in crutches and then the next scene she's standing there fine by herself. But that is crazy that you have that type of confidence that you could actually sit there with a straight face in front of other people and pretend like you're one of them. What the fuck?
They actually sent her over to overseas for talking to the States, paid for everything, because she was in remission from cancer and all this sort of thing.
In this Facebook post, Amanda speaks glowingly about her trip. Speaking to over 1,000 people was something I never thought I'd be able to do, but it was the best feeling in the world. Amanda goes on to talk about visiting Disneyland, the Grand Canyon, Las Vegas and San Francisco. Then 5 days later, she's telling her friends, I've received 2 counts of terrible news in relation to a cancer diagnosis and an unfortunate relapse.
How? How can you be what? I'm assuming she went on all those trips and just realized, oh, this is such a blast. I've got to keep up this persona now and make a post to make them feel guilty for me again. I need more trips. I deserve more trips. On the other hand, how can you not have spoken to, over 1,000 people and not once had thought, oh, maybe one of these people deserve these trips instead of me? Like, how do some people not have any guilt whatsoever and not put like 2 and 2 together, right? Talking to these people, these are the types of people that deserve these trips and you're the one taking them. What kind of entitlement is that? I suppose she's thinking in her mindset being like, oh, well, yes, I've raised all this money for these charities and stuff. I deserve these trips. It has to be one of the worst ones I think we've ever watched.
Times there where it was better, but then all of a sudden it would come back worse and she would have to go in for surgeries or she would have to take time off work.
Yeah, I'm sure they always came back around about the time when she wasn't getting as much attention as she was before. What's that? I'm not getting any free trips. Well, would you look at that? It suddenly came back again.
But Amanda's friends say there were some things that didn't add up, like things happening when no one was in sight. You'd find her on the floor.
Can I just cut in there, Chris? Or when we were not around, we would come home and...
Find her.
Yep. Or if we were home, it'd be in the bathroom and you'd hear a thud.
She would collapse in our bathroom and we wouldn't hear her hit the floor, but I can hear my 2-year-old son fall out of bed. So towards the end, she would have crutches. Like my hens weekend, we hired her a wheelchair. She would come to our house and I would hire the wheelchair.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
That didn't age well, did it? Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. I can't stand up, but she could. Yeah, that's a good point, hey? Like, yeah, they're not making any sound when they're collapsing and stuff, right? Like, that's a little bit weird. Assuming this is coming to the end of her pretending that she has cancer, like, how can you keep this persona going? I would assume in the real world, like, when this type of stuff actually happens, you know, you're kind of on your final stretch there, right? I mean, if you're literally collapsing in a bathroom and stuff, but she looked pretty okay. Well, of course she was okay. She faked it. But she looked way too happy and way too bubbly in that last clip. I can't stand up. I don't think you'd be saying it like that.
This is Amanda at Jess's hen's party not long after she told her friends she was dying. As a result of the bad news, friends say Amanda created a bucket list of things she wanted to do, calling it Powers 30 before 30, and her friends set about making it happen.
Wait, hold up. Powers before... How? What the... Why do all these people always look so much older than they are? Bro, I thought she was like in her 50s. I know I said in the last video that girl was what, like 28 or something? And like, you guys were actually pretty blown away. Like me, she was that age, bro. I legit thought she was in her 50s. And I thought this girl was like in her late 40s, bro. Did you see that clip of her in the beginning? She was in her 50s.
One of those items was a trip to the Whitsundays, which... There was 4 of us girls and we paid for that out of our own pocket, and I really wanted to make that a fantastic trip for her. So yeah, we went to Whitehaven Beach and thought that we were doing a great thing for her, and meanwhile the whole time she was getting a free holiday.
And one of the items on that bucket list was for her to be able to walk down the aisle at my wedding.
Jess says instead of buying a house, she and her fiancé came up with the cash for a wedding, just so Amanda could be there. The 2 women even got matching tattoos.
Because she was dying, she was in the middle of all of our photos. All of our day was about her. We made sure that where our wedding was, she could walk down the aisle.
Man, that is rough. Imagine planning like supposed to be one of the most magical days of your life. You know, a day that's supposed to be about you. But yet here your fake friend is pretending to have cancer and making it literally all about her. To the point where you're having to redesign your whole wedding to make sure that it's acceptable for her, when she's just faking anyway. Also, the matching tattoo. Jesus Christ, that's gotta suck. And the pictures now. The pictures that are probably all around their houses. The most magical day of their life is just basically photobombed to the brim with an absolute scumbag. That has to suck.
The 3 friends say they all spent money looking after Amanda. Carly even gave her cash. They say Amanda also set up an online fundraiser to help with her treatment and her bucket list.
She would often share that link to social media, updating people saying, this is my latest update, things aren't going well, if you'd be able to support me through this, here's the link if you're able to donate any money.
So she was clearly asking for help.
That's right.
Financial help.
Yes.
But things unravelled when Amanda took herself to hospital, saying she was going into palliative care. At the time, she was living in Brisbane with Gemma, who called the hospital to see how Amanda was.
I must have sounded like the crazy woman because I rang and I said, you know, after Amanda Power, she's going into palliative care. She went into palliative care this morning, so I don't have a patient by that name.
And nobody could contact her or anything like that because she had already planned, her funeral, she had planned everything like that.
Gemma called police, who found Amanda not long after.
They took her straight to a psych hospital. So the psych nurse asked her if she had cancer, and she told the psych nurse straight out that she didn't have cancer.
Gemma says a doctor asked to speak to her in person after Amanda confessed she didn't have cancer.
What do you mean? Like, no.
That has to be like scary. What even goes through your mind at that point? You know, you've been helping your friend at this point for like the last, what they said, decade, 10 years, buying her free holidays, pushing her social medias, her fundraisers, making almost the last 10 years of every one of these girls' lives about Amanda, you know, and then you hear that. Oh, she's not even here. And then she says, oh, I don't even have cancer. What? I mean, speechless is probably one of the feelings that you have, but you also just imagine how mad you would get. Just how mad you would be. 10 years, bro, of your life that you're never getting back, and money. That is wild. Like, how do you even recover from that? Like they said at the beginning, they haven't. But yeah, Amanda, who faked cancer, well, she just got off with no punishment, no consequences whatsoever, and is just living her life normally now.
And he goes, she doesn't. There's no ounce of evidence that she has cancer.
And I just collapsed to the ground, and I just wanted the ground to come apart.
Did disbelief turn to anger?
Disbelief, shock, and then definitely anger.
Why would someone lie to their friends about having a disease like that, Amanda? Can you explain that to us?
And I suppose one of the thoughts in their head would be mad at yourself, right? You'd be angry. Like, how did I fall for this for 10 years? Am I dumb? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would actually feel kind of like, I suppose, kind of dumb in a way. But like I said at the beginning of the video, this just isn't something that people would lie about. Why put up your guard for something like this? You're not going to fake claim someone with cancer. Why would you? You don't have to, right? But like 10 years of your whole life just helping this person that just turned out to be faking the whole time has to be devastating.
When we caught up with Amanda, she looked well, didn't need a wheelchair or a walking stick as she went shopping. What do you think you would say to her if you ran into her now?
I don't think I'd say anything. I think I'd do something. I don't know. I want to know why. Just why.
And why do you think she did it?
I think it was attention. I think she was seeking attention.
100%. They said how her parents had divorced at the beginning. So I assume personally, she probably, she did this for attention. She clearly wasn't getting attention from her parents. So she decided to make up an elaborate story where thousands of people could just give her attention.
Last September, Amanda Power was charged with 9 counts of fraud, totaling almost $13,000. Police alleging Amanda dishonestly obtained funds from 7 people and the Cancer Council, where she was employed.
13,000 and that's it. Really? Really? It's like the same kind of fine I get if I'm 1 day late on my tax. What kind of a fine is that? Like, what kind of BS is that? Like, what? So I could fake this and just scam people for 10 years straight while getting free holidays, free cash and whatnot, and just pay 13,000. Like, that doesn't even probably cover like 1 year.
You're an ambassador for the Cancer Council, Amanda. How did you manage to convince everyone that you were sick, if that's not the case? Amanda, there's nothing you'd like to tell us about this?
And the Cancer Council maintains it has a long and proud history of supporting all people impacted by cancer. As this case is before the courts, it can't comment further on Amanda's matter. And if you have any information that might help police, please call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. That's 1800 333 000.
So yeah, again, I like to make these videos because I want this to kind of get out there. I know this is kind of an older case now, I'm sure, but again, it's nice, and I think these types of videos should resurface every once in a while so everyone can see the absolute scumbag that they are. I really hope that it didn't affect the corporation behind helping people with cancer. Like, that has to be the worst outcome of it all, is now people putting up their guard. But I hope that's not the case. I know it's definitely going to be the case of the friends not wanting to ever probably donate now to someone with cancer, and honestly, I just can't blame them. Going through this for 10 years, like I said, has to be absolutely devastating and life-changing. Just honestly a wild story. Out of all the videos we've watched, this has to be the craziest one, like by far. But with that all being said, guys, please like and comment on today's video, share this video. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.